It's the exact reason why I don't do the chore of duty anymore, because I never make the notes. Well, actually, I do make notes for those, but I haven't done one in 2 weeks.
So, don't give up.
Sometimes it's time to give up. Get that out of the way. Hello, happy campers. I'm Spike.
I'm Chris.
That's Chris. This is a big old Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse poster over my back shoulder, thanks to Beth and her Noobs with Boobs channel, leaving it in our studio here.
And I got a red eye that is watery.
He has
for
pink
some reason.
eye today.
I do not have pink eye.
He has pink eye.
I do not have
Pink eye.
No. It just started. It's allergies or something. It's not pink eye.
We're doing the whole thing like this. I'll do it.
I wish it would hush you. Joking.
As the wise man once said, sitting on the top of the mountain that a man spent 3 weeks trying to climb just to find out what was the answer of life. There you go. Now, all right, so 2 big things coming out late in the week. Now, hold on. 3 things I've learned in the past few days. First off, apparently we have a critic that you get all bent out of shape with. Apparently we're boring. We're documentary.
Now, wait a minute. Okay, now,
So we're a documentary
First of all, they don't like to have things explained, but yet this person I wouldn't take with a grain of salt. Don't make it. Don't feel bad.
Well, I don't feel bad at all. I happen to like documentaries.
So do I. We explain stuff.
When I don't get inspired enough to actually do
And that was
a
just
better
one
version
person.
of something.
That was just one person. Now, I did post who all still watches us and still likes us.
All 3 of them.
Say hey, and I got a bunch of people saying hey. So we still got people.
That's what I get for not checking the social media every once in a while. But anyway.
Apparently that's my
So
job.
that's one thing. And hey, everybody, listen, everybody is entitled to their opinions.
What is happening?
But understand, pink eye, understand, okay, this is, now I've already given my 3 rules, so this is like one of my codas, okay? These are like auxiliary rules that don't, pink eye, I'm telling you, that's like coda number 1. I'm telling you it's pink eye.
Scrumpy.
It's like coda number 2, okay? Opinions are like buttholes, okay? Everybody has one. They all stink because they're all full of crap.
That's right. Full of shit. But, damn it, I forgot.
Yes. So anyway, there were 2 other things. So if you have an opinion, by all means, go ahead and let us have it. Give it to us with both barrels. We'll listen. We may not pay any attention to it, but we will hear you out.
Yeah.
So 2 other things. One broke Friday, and that had to do with Disney and Sony. Right about the time everybody gave up on Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, suddenly we have 2 more movies. So what? So,
And the deal is that they gave
what's the big deal?
25% deal.
Disney's going to kick in 25% of the budget on each film, and they're going to get 25% of the gross from $1.
So,
which is better than going halvesies like Disney was wanting to do, because Disney still keeps every penny of merchandising off Spider-Man, which was another reason why Marvel almost went into bankruptcy back in the 90s, because they had given away the merchandising rights to everybody, and that's where the cash cow comes in. That's the free money that you get in every month from all your merchants, your vendors, your licensors. So, is this a good thing going forward? We get, I guess, Spider-Man homeless after all. And supposedly, I don't know. I'll let you go ahead and do your reaction. I'll tell you what I've been hearing.
Well, I mean, I guess it works out for the fans who've been wanting to keep him in the MCU and want to see what else happens with him in the MCU.
Two more times, yeah.
But, I mean, then again, I guess I would rather have 2 more movies of this Spider-Man than to start all over again.
Again.
And I really don't want that. So, I guess they would either have to fill in and see, like, what's going to happen in the last movie, you know? I mean, they got 2 more. What happens to him at the last movie? Does he, like, go to college and be like, well, I'm going to college, so... bye? Is that how Spider-Man ends? He's like, bye. I mean, I don't know.
Spider-Man homeless. Anyway,
ends up on the streets.
This does follow up. This allows them to follow up on the Far From Home ending, which, spoilers. Spoilers, Peter Parker's identity has been blurted out to the entire world by the villain of the movie, Mysterio.
Mm.
So, supposedly Spider-Man Homeless, and that's what I'm calling it until I hear something else. Apparently Spider-Man Homeless is all about Peter having to deal with his being essentially publicly outed. Now, whether he makes a deal with Mephisto, where everybody will forget who he is, and undo his marriage to Mary Jane, wait, that's the comic books. So, who knows which direction they're going to go with. But then again, up until Iron Man 1, back in the day, up until then, it was almost every superhero had a secret identity. It wasn't until Robert Downey Jr. made his film and Tony Stark announced he was Iron Man at the end of Iron Man 1. Spoilers! Then suddenly it became a little more acceptable to become publicly known. Because if you look around, you'll see secret identities are not so much of a thing in the MCU.
No.
So maybe... But on the other hand, Spider-Man tends to have more people trying to kill him than your average superhero does.
Didn't they do that in the comic books where he came out and told the world that he was Spider-Man and he got assassinated by the Punisher? Or
no.
I don't know.
What happened?
I can't remember.
Civil War. Okay, not the movie. The movie was halfway decent. Civil War is the one that introduced Spidey into the MCU. I think.
Yeah.
Close. In the comic books, this is like back in 2005, something like that. Marvel had a thing called Civil War. And it was essentially... everybody had to pick a side. You were either for superheroes registering with the government, or you were against it. Okay, so on the for side, you had Iron Man, because somebody had to do it. And on the other side, you had Captain America, because, America. Well, it went over like a lead rake with Marvel fans, who thought it was cool to have this huge extended storyline at first, because it went through nearly every book in Marvel's line at the time, until they found out you were expected to side with one side or the other. So all the fans sided with Captain America. None of them almost nobody, none of the fans in Marvel supported registering heroes with the government.
Which is because people know how the government is, so.
But that's just it. Editor-in-Chief Joe Quesada, the writer, can't think, I'm not sure if that's a Bendis production or not. Fuck Bendis. Pardon the French, but seriously, fuck him. But anyway, all of this going on, well, that's alright, I'll take those hits all day long. Either way, the Marvel management thought the fans literally thought that they would seriously side with Iron Man and his pro-registration thing. You want to see... Now, if you may poo-poo woke culture, okay? If you wanted to see some of the seeds in the comic book industry, and this really did... We need to sit down and talk about it sometime, the effect Civil War had on the comic book industry. Because it was the roots for not just the woke culture, but for a lot of the problems we see right now. Like DC can't pull its head out of its ass long enough to take DC Rebirth seriously? I mean, they have almost undone almost all the good stuff they did in Rebirth. Okay? The ones that actually made DC fans care about DC again, Dan DiDio has managed to undo almost all of it. Dan DiDio's in place because of Civil War. Brian Michael Bendis has a job today because of Civil War. Okay, now, and a lot of the MCU touchy points is because of the Civil War. Either way, getting back to it, Spider-Man, Tony Stark managed to convince Spider-Man to reveal his public identity, his secret identity, make it public, in order to show that the pro-registration side was trustworthy. Until Spidey found out that they were shoving not just villains, but other superheroes who disagreed with them into another dimension found by Reed Richards called the Negative Zone, and any Marvel fan worth their salt knows that the Negative Zone, you don't want to be anywhere near the Negative Zone. Okay? And that's where the number 42 came from. So either way, Spidey changes his mind, but now not only does the entire world now know he's Peter Parker because he admitted it on international live television, but also now Tony Stark is mad at him and has to make an example of him for essentially turning traitor to the Iron Man's pro-registration side. How we wound up there is beyond me, but because we were talking about Spider-Man back in the MCU. Okay, so two things. He's in for 2 movies. The first one, like I said, Spider-Man Homeless is what I'm going to call it. That's the wrap-up to the Spider-Man trilogy in the MCU. The other one, and this one, take this with a grain of salt because this is Comicsgate guys discussing this. If you don't know what Comicsgate is, we're going to have a discussion on that sometime too. The scuttlebutt has it that Disney wants to use Spider-Man to boost Captain Marvel 2. Because apparently the powers that be at Disney are well aware that nobody wants to see Captain Marvel 2, and so they think that if they put Spider-Man in it, it'll give people a reason to watch.
Oh, no.
Can't tell you if that's true or not, but rest assured, Phase 4 of the MCU, which is what they're into now, is going to go for about 3 years. And then they're going to launch straight. This is like Phase 4 is apparently like an interlude between 3 and 5. 3 wrapped up the big opera. Yeah. 5 starts the next big opera. 4 is like the intermission where you go out and get more popcorn and soda. So that's the scuttlebutt. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But if they are using Spider-Man in the Captain Marvel 2 movie, for the life of me, I can only see one way to make it work. It can be made to work. And if you want to hear it, you let me know. But you go ahead and speak your piece.
I'm sure it would work because people like Spider-Man and what they do Captain Marvel. But then again, they'll fuss about how, so you had to bring in a man to make a all-female powerful thing work. Mm-hmm. And then that will be the big discussion. And I'm sorry, I'm all for female rights and woman hear me roar, but that movie just literally just reached out and slapped every man in the face and said, now how you like me, and be like, well, we don't like you at all because, well, you're a bit...
Captain Marvel was a turd burger. Okay? It was a stinker. It wasn't even a floater. It hit the water and sank. Yes, it made money. It did make money.
But because mostly, though, it made money because it was a Marvel movie. Just saying.
Just curious. I haven't bothered to do the follow-up because I couldn't care less. Would love to see what their DVD sales for Captain Marvel are compared to other Marvel movies that came before and after.
We should really check that out. That'd be pretty interesting.
That'd be an interesting little piece of research. Yeah. Either way, you can make this work. This, again, I do this on this show. Things will pop in my head, and I'll just throw it out there.
He's going to have a genius moment here.
Try this. The beloved wife hates it when I knock on the table, so I'm trying to stop. But anyway, try this, okay? Mary Sue Marvel, okay? Not Mary Marvel, but we're going to call her Captain Marvel because Carol Danvers, okay? Mary Sue is what I'm going to call her. All right. Mary Sue is a pseudonym for, well, Mary Sue is for that concept of the woman who cannot be beaten because she is just the best in everything. She's called her Mary Sue. So I'm just going to call her Mary Sue, okay? So Carol Danvers bites the dust in the first 5 minutes.
Wow.
Now remember Monica Rambeau?
Oh, and she's going to take over.
She takes over as Captain Marvel. She inherits the powers somehow. Because comic books, everybody. Monica Rambeau takes over. Captain Marvel is now not only female but black. And somebody has to teach her how to do it. And the only one available right now, since Tony Stark is still technically dead, and Captain America's out of touch. And Thor's not available, so who's left? Spider-Man. He's got to show her the ropes. And you wind up with this, but I don't think it'd be anywhere near as good. But anyway. But
I'll dig that.
that could work, and that would be interesting. That would do away with all the complaints about what's-her-face playing Captain Marvel. What is her face?
Brie
Larson, right?
Yeah. That's
Okay. So that gets rid of Brie Larson. That changes it. Let's make the little girl the new Captain Marvel. And then all of a sudden, so now you got a high school senior, Peter Parker, trying to teach this little girl how to handle what all this power is, because with great power comes what?
Great responsibility.
That would be an interesting movie, wouldn't it? That'd be a unique spin.
I would totally watch that.
You'd give it a shot, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So hey, let's bring that up. Let's bring up the second big story of the week. Kevin Feige. You can have that one for free.
Kevin Feige.
Kevin Feige now in charge of Star Wars 9: The Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
I'm gonna let you give first reaction, then I'll give my reaction to it.
Well, now, look, Kevin Feige is a smart guy. He's done a great job with the MCU stuff, and I think I would like to see what he does with the Star Wars franchise, but also I don't like the fact that I don't know what his plans are exactly. Because apparently George Lucas, who created the entire thing, literally said he does not like the future plans for Star Wars. Now, that also I have my own opinion on that, because I have my opinion. Anybody who creates something and then they sell it off and then is disappointed about how that goes should not have a say-so at all. I mean, if you create something that becomes huge and popular, you should slap your name on it, pee on it, call it yours, and have nobody else touch it. You can do whatever you want to with it. But if you sell it off and they make a bunch of sequels that bomb, and then all of a sudden you come back and just decide, well, none of those actually exist, but this, where I take off, does, and they've been doing that and they still are, they should not have no say-so in it. So I'm interested, but then again, I'm also trying to figure out what's going to happen. So go ahead. What's up?
See, this is part of the problem. And a lot of creators are paying very close attention to what's happening with Star Wars right now. Because, George Lucas sold the property outright to Disney. Because, quite frankly, if you remember, by the time he sold this to Disney after the end of the 3 prequels, he was so tired of Star Wars, he wanted nothing more to do with it. And quite frankly, most of the Star Wars fans did not want George Lucas to have anything more to do with it. Because George Lucas does Jar Jar Binks. Okay?
Yeah.
Nobody wants Jar Jar Binks.
That is true.
These Star Wars fans didn't think it could get any worse than, and I'm just going to say it, senile George Lucas. Okay? Ha! That's when you start making movies by committee. Disney's greatest strength has always been to find talent who can manage a project. Okay? Disney could not make a decent movie to save their lives. Pixar.
Not anymore.
Not for years, until Pixar was the one who made the movies with heart, right? Okay, until Cars. But that's neither here nor there. It just showed Pixar can make a cash grab just like anybody can. But then Disney did Wreck-It Ralph. And then what was the one they did after that?
Inside Out? Is it?
That was Pixar. I'm talking about Disney feature animation. Once they made their first CGI film was Chicken Little, and then they struggled until they did Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph didn't make a fortune, but it was very, very hopeful and actually got a lot of critical praise and fan praise. The one that came after that was Frozen.
Oh.
Okay, now, no matter what his opinion is of it,
Oh.
they are still making money off of Frozen. We have to call it Frozen 1 now because Frozen 2 comes out, what, this winter, don't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Disney knows how to recognize managerial talent. Pixar started out because Steve Jobs took this little unit at Lucasfilm, no less. Okay, Pixar was originally a division of LucasArts. George Lucas helped get Pixar started.
Sure.
He sold it off. Steve Jobs bought it when he was doing his little next computer thing, and then that was the only thing that survived out of Steve Jobs' brilliant little next computer company was Pixar. And so as he builds Pixar, do Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc., all these others, just boom, 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 boom. Steve Jobs did not write any of those. Steve Jobs knew how to market things.
Yeah.
Disney knows how to recognize good managerial talent. Disney managed to get a hold of John Lasseter. Now, John Lasseter is like an enemy of the woke right now because he did some stupid things with his penis, okay? Now, John Lasseter was the guy who managed to raise people up, put the right people in the right positions at Pixar to nail just home run after 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 home run. Just bam, bam, bam. He knew how to get the right sluggers in the right positions to start knocking home runs out of the park. Disney, when they buy Pixar, they want their feature animation unit to work, so they realize, hey, at Pixar, the guy responsible for all that success, for the history of success, is John Lasseter. Let's take him, let's put him in feature animation. They put somebody else in charge of Pixar. Since then, Pixar struggled. The Good Dinosaur, Inside Out, on, struggling, and nothing but sequels since. And John Lasseter winds up at feature animation, Wreck-It Ralph, Frozen, goes on. I can't keep up with all the names because my brain cells are.
I didn't think about that.
Yes. So Disney realized there was a problem at Disney feature animation. Remember, this is the unit that has existed since the 1930s. This is the same unit that did Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. They cannot, Roy Disney Jr. would not allow them to let this unit fall apart and let Pixar take its place. It's got too much historic value. So Disney did the only thing they could. They plucked John Lasseter, the brilliant guy, out of Pixar, put him in feature animation. Suddenly Disney feature animation is spinning gold again, and Pixar is just crapping out. Now, Kevin Feige is in charge of the Marvel unit, okay? Kevin Feige does not write anything, okay? Kevin Feige does not direct anything. Kevin Feige not really involved in a lot of the day-to-day stuff. Kevin Feige is the visionary who he knows where the creative people are. He knows how to put them in the right place, just like John Lasseter did. He puts them in the right place, the right time, doing the right thing, and they make gold. And Marvel has been spinning gold for over a decade, solid, because Kevin Feige knows how to put the right people in the right place. Okay. Disney realizes that Star Wars is choking on its own vomit right now. Pluck Kevin Feige out of Marvel, put him over in charge of Star Wars. Now, too late to save Rise of Skywalker. We are talking about, what, 3 months left?
Yep. It comes out in December.
Don't know what Kevin Feige can do. Kevin Feige can go out. He can find as many of the old school Star Wars writers. He can get a hold. He can get a hold of some guys at Marvel, some of the creators of the old Star Wars comics, which sold millions of copies in the 70s and 80s because this was the continuing adventures, and it was canon at the time until some idiot at Disney decided to blow it all out of the water. But get a hold of some of those old talents, find out who the best Star Wars novel writers are. Go out into Hollywood. Hey, yeah, this is Kevin Feige. Yeah, I used to be with Marvel. I'm trying to save Star Wars. Stephen King, would you like to write a Star Wars movie for me?
That would be crazy.
Hey, here's an idea. Hi, Mark Hamill, Kevin Feige here. Yeah, I'm trying to save Star Wars. Listen, could you go talk to Kevin Conroy and see if he could be a Darth for me? See what happens?
Drool.
See what
Drool.
happens when
My
you
mouth
put
is
the...
dry.
Now, you
That would be
despaired
so
of
awesome.
any good Star Wars ever again. Inside of
That would be
5
so awesome.
minutes, I have given you 3 ideas that could not only salvage the franchise, he hasn't actually made anything yet.
Wow.
He's just networking so far. Okay? So, have
that'd be so
faith,
cool.
guys. Somebody at Disney, okay? We need to talk about Bob Iger sometime, too. I really need to read his book. He just came out with a new autobiography. But I'm guessing it was an autobiography. He probably a biography. It was ghostwritten for him, I'm sure. Bob Iger is the guy in charge of Disney, okay? Somebody got to Bob Iger and said, look, we should really bring Kevin Feige over here. And he's like, yeah, I can see these numbers. I can see the Star Wars numbers. Here's the Marvel numbers. Really need Star Wars to come up a little bit. Yeah, Marvel's going to suffer a bit, but it's Phase 4. We can put Kevin back by Phase 5 if we haven't found anybody else to take over. But this way we can save Star Wars again. We'll have Marvel still going. And then... Oh, and Frozen 2 is coming out, which is going to sponsor everything. It's going to subsidize it all.
I honestly never looked at it like that, as for, like, Kevin Feige being the new Lasseter at Disney. To where you have the Marvel, now Star Wars, and pretty soon he'll probably look over the entire Disney franchise.
Here's the important thing.
I can actually see that happening, and that's a good choice, too.
Here's the important thing, though, okay? Kevin Feige lives, breathes, and bleeds Marvel. He has for decades. He's been a Marvel fanboy since he was a kid, okay? Don't know how strong he is on his Star Wars support, but he knows a guy like Kevin Feige, guy with his managerial talents, if you've got that managerial talent and you can rally people around you, it works no matter where you are. Even if you're disinterested in it, you can still rally people who are passionate about a project to take over those parts that you were supposed to be doing, and they will actually run it and build it for you.
Yeah.
That's what visionaries do. They come out with the vision. Hey, I'm here. Let's turn Star Wars around, shall we? Oh my God, somebody wants to turn Star Wars around. Yes! So everybody starts jumping in. Now you got the passionate people coming in. Kathleen Kennedy, the one who a lot of people are blaming for the Star Wars
Which
sequels.
I don't understand that.
I don't understand it either.
She just gave people, like, what they wanted, but yeah, it didn't go the way it was supposed to, and everybody's blaming her. That's like,
Here's the thing, Kathleen Kennedy, and again, we could do an episode on Kathleen Kennedy. We should probably
I
start
love
writing these
Kathleen
down.
Kennedy.
Kathleen
done some
Kennedy, when
great
she
stuff.
worked for Spielberg and over at Amblin Entertainment
For a very long time.
for a very, very long time, she was the one who did the grunt work. Okay, Steven Spielberg was, again, the visionary. Okay, Steven Spielberg, you know what? I really liked her. I think we should work on a project. I got the rights to this little book, Who Censored Roger Rabbit. We could turn this into a movie. Hey, Robert Zemeckis is available. Let's bring him in to direct, because I don't have time for it. I mean, I'm Steven Spielberg. But let's bring him in to direct. Hey, Kathleen, can you run day-to-day on this? We need to get as many cartoon characters together as we can so we can print money. Kathleen's like, okay, boss. And then she comes in, she works with Robert Zemeckis. She handles the writing the checks and stuff. Robert Zemeckis handles the day-to-day direction work. Next thing you know, you've got Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which makes all the money. Okay? Every animation fan in history of universe has seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit at least 10 times. Okay? At least, well, I take it back, 8 times because you only have 4 fingers on each hand. Kathleen Kennedy, when she's with Amblin, is the administrator extraordinaire. Somebody at Disney screwed up, brought her in as in the visionary mode. Kathleen Kennedy, not a visionary. She's the executor. She can get things done, but she doesn't have the vision. Now Kevin Feige is there. Kevin Feige's got the vision. Kathleen Kennedy, still administrator extraordinaire. Mark, now I'm not going to put money on this, but I'm willing to wager a nice little smile and a wave here on the show. Kevin Feige pulls Kathleen Kennedy back off the shelf, lets her run administrative producer on the last Star Wars movies, and then sees how she works from there. So she's one of those people. If you've got her balancing your books, if you've got her making out the checks, if you've got her signing the talent for you that you tell her to go out and sign, she's brilliant at it. You give her the visionary role, though, she has no vision. She can't get it done. So all she does is she hears all these woke people saying, well, we need a girl lead. Well, George Lucas wanted the girl lead in his Star Wars treatment. He had a Star Wars treatment for the last 3, for the sequel trilogy. Disney didn't really use it. And then you had What's-His-Face take over in the second sequel. What's his name? Not Ryan Johnson, is it?
J.J.
No. Not J.J. J.J.'s taking over third. He was involved in the first one. The guy in the middle. The guy who thought it would be a... Huh? Ryan Johnson. The guy who thought it was a brilliant idea to have Luke Skywalker pitch his lightsaber over his shoulder, squeeze the tit of a bantha, and then drink the milk. You go, and think that was a hilarious little idea. Those guys need to go away. Okay? Ryan Johnson's not there anymore. Jar Jar Abrams is there.
Oh, don't call him that.
Okay.
Look,
Jar Jar Abrams is very hit or miss. He again, visionary. He can get the visions.
He has a new movie coming out. Okay,
great. I'd much rather have J.J. Abrams in a production role than in a direction role. I don't want him involved in creative. I want J.J. involved in production because, again, visionary, he can motivate the others, but when it comes to direction, it just falls apart. Look at the Star Trek movies and tell me I'm lying.
I kind of like JJ stuff. I got to admit, I do. Even though it does seem to follow a certain pattern that he does, and I disagree with that because it's like, stop doing that. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was JJ that actually brought in Kathleen Kennedy to help out with Force Awakens. And at the time, the idea was that JJ was going to do the next 3 movies, and then all of a sudden it switched, and somebody had the idea that they wanted different directors on all 3, which is actually a really stupid idea, because why would you want to do that?
You can do that. Didn't that happen on the original trilogy? They changed directors. Okay, the producers stayed the same, except you saw a huge drop off between 2 and 3, because in 1, George Lucas was motivated. He had the vision. He got it done. And the second one, I can't remember the dude's name. He was the one. There was another guy who was basically in charge of getting 2 done. The Empire Strikes Back. By then, George Lucas was stepping back. He was trying to get Howard the Duck loaded.
No, well,
or something equally memorable. And then that guy is forced out toward the end of production of 2. George Lucas comes back in for 3, and you wind up with Ewoks all over the place. And then you do 4, which is where Jar Jar Binks shows up. and now we're up to BB-8 and all this other stuff. George Lucas, say what you will about JJ, okay? Say what you will about JJ, and I will, okay? When he's good, he's really, really good. When he's bad, he's really, really bad. There's very little warm in the Jar Jar Abrams universe. Lost was good and fell apart because, again, JJ was not there to provide the vision, the unifying effort that Kevin Feige provides. For that matter, Kevin Smith also. He's one of those rare directors who could be visionaries. He would be an incredible executive producer at DC.
Kevin Smith would be awesome if they gave him a chance.
Try this. Kevin Feige in charge of Marvel. Hear me out. Kevin Smith in charge of DC.
I'll be all right with that. Kevin Smith does,
especially with Jeff Johns being in charge of overall creative effort. He's the he's the chief operations officer now. Put Kevin Smith together with Jeff Johns, and oh my God, the DC cinematic universe would just kick Marvel's ass for the next 5 years.
If somebody,
at least till Phase 5 kicks in.
If somebody at Warner Brothers would actually listen.
Who listens over at AT&T? You tried calling their customer service, buddy?
God.
Either way, we're now 36 minutes in. We need to shut this down. So, to recap, Spidey's back in the MCU. I'm not as excited as most people. You excited? Yeah. See, you've already put us down this road twice before, Disney and Sony. We're not paying as much attention.
I think I'm looking at it from the point of view of just how many Spider-Man movies I have literally been through to the point where it's like, well, it's nothing really special to me. If you're younger and all you know is this Spider-Man, then you'll probably be like, yay!
One quick note on that. I'm old enough to remember when there were no Spider-Man movies. There were only 2 Spider-Man movies when I was a kid. When I was a young and knee-high to a grasshopper, okay? There were only 2. One had Nicholas Hammond and came off the CBS show. The other was some kind of Japanese freak in a Spider-Man outfit who had no Spider-Man powers whatsoever, but did have a big old mecha he used to destroy Tokyo. Okay? So, y'all, by all means, continue to be upset, you spoiled little brats, with what you're getting as far as Spider-Man is concerned. The fact that you have so much Spider-Man stuff now, completely impossible before Sam Raimi got a hold of it in 99. Was it 99? 2002. 2002, 2003, something like that. It was after 2001. So I'm actually more mad about it than he is. So, and then the other one with Kevin Feige being moved over to Star Wars to try to get something done over there.
Might actually work.
Might work. Again, you've actually got a visionary in place. And with the right visionary, and the right visionary will find the right people. And unlike a lot of the dreck we get out of the entertainment industry today, Kevin Feige, and all visionaries are like this, it will not go out the door until they're ready for it to go. So, if it means Star Wars misses, hold on, here's the interesting thing. If Kevin Feige decides that Star Wars 9, The Rise of Skywalker, is not ready to go out the door in December, you may have to wait till 2020 for F9.
I'm okay with that.
And that's the other thing, too. A lot of Star Wars fans will be okay with that. Me, I'm just waiting for Viacom to pull its head out of its ass and put all the Star Wars guys back together, or Star Trek guys together. Oh, boy. Either way, until next time, I'm Spike.
I'm Chris.
That was Chris, and we will see you next time on Geekin' Out. Maybe might get a chore of duty out of me sometime this week, but it is...
Need to.
Chances are 50-50. We'll see what happens, because I actually went out and sat down and recorded an episode last week and could not bring myself to use it.
Why?
I was talking about the history of the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
And actually, I've told you this one before
Yes.
about how
You
they
opened my
did,
eyes.
about how the Democratic Party worked for decades to keep the black man down. This is not a joke. To keep the black man down. Okay, I didn't like the way it turned out, but we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll discuss the Greta Thunberg, that 16-year-old Swedish chick who addressed the UN and gave them a proper talking to, because she's obviously far more of an expert on climate change than half the world's climatologists, which say that climate change is a bunch of bunk. Well, they can't get adults to listen to them anymore, so. Or maybe I need to just sit down and start doing the chore of duty together with you every week, and then the two of us sit down, and that'll be our political thing, and this Geeking Out will be our non-political thing. Let us know what you think in the comments. Odds are, if there's going to be a chore of duty, it's going to be with the Galoomph in charge, and we're going to be doing them, filming them both at the same time. Either way, that's still Chris. I'm still Spike. We'll see you next time on Geeking Out. Night, all.
See ya. Stay geeking.
Well, at least you didn't say quit jerking your gherkin. All right.
No, but you just did.
Yeah, but it's funny when I say it.